All right. Welcome to We Are Family podcast. I'm not waiting anymore. This guy's fiddling with his headset. I'm not even letting Jake Bell do the intro. I'm doing the intro today. But go ahead, Jake Bell.
Welcome to We Are Family, episode number 24. I am Jake Bell here with Peyton Celesti and Nathan Schivins.
I don't appreciate that. You don't remember that.
I hope you do. I hope you do remember.
And you know what? Since we are PHAMily, why don't we start off the episode by breaking the news that Pirates signed Tommy Pham.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. All right.
We are family. Perfect. Well, I mean, we
We're
can't
gonna
ask
change.
for any.
We gotta have him on.
You know what?
Yeah.
If Pham does well somehow,
He's gonna.
we're
come
gonna
on
make the logo of our podcast just a picture of Pham's face.
And we're gonna have like our
And-
we're gonna get the banners up, and we're gonna have.
it's
big
gonna be a
Pham.
banner of Pham, and it's gonna say "We
Family.
Are
And
Family."
you
He's
know
gonna be
what?
on.
If he gets a homer in this first at bat, we'll all get a big Tommy Pham face tattoo on our back. And no, we will not. But
No,
no,
we will not.
I am not
Yeah.
agreeing to those terms.
Oh gosh.
Now,
Well,
if he gets us to the playoffs, if he like puts us on the if Tommy Pham just goes on a generational September run.
Russell Martin run right
oh
there.
Yeah.
gosh.
Russell Martin gives the Pirates.
Russell Martin gives the Pirates. It is 2-0 or something like that.
Yeah, I
It's
can't remember.
2-0.
Yeah, it just
We
No,
love you,
but,
Greg Brown.
yeah.
that was a
I was
great
trying
call.
to think of the exact call.
All right. Let's get serious about Tommy Pham.
We're never
this
serious.
Is ridiculous.
This is very unserious.
That is
Or-
an unserious. This is an unserious signing. I mean, first of all, well, I don't think we've talked about this much. We talked about Austin Hayes, right? Going to the Reds for $5 million. I'm saying I'm throwing $7 or $8 million at the guy. Okay, number one. And then we have Randall Grichuk, who before we signed Pham, re-signed went back to the Arizona Diamondbacks. I mean, the guy's not an elite, doesn't have a lot of power, but he hits 290. He's certainly an upgrade from what we had.
He's never had a bad season, Grichuk,
No,
ever.
he's certainly an upgrade from what we had. I'm saying go get both of those guys for a combined, 14, 15 million. I don't care that they're both right-handed. I like both of them. Or a combination of Hayes and Grichuk or Jesse Winker. All those guys are off the board. The Pirates don't spend the money to go after them.
And they were there forever. They were right
They
there.
were there for the taking. You can't tell me that you couldn't have got one of those three guys. You can't tell me that. I don't want to hear that, oh, well, they didn't want to come here. Like, I know that that's the case a lot of times, and, that's where the Pirates may get a pass, but we've given this organization the benefit of the doubt, for, I think, the three of us for a very long time. And it's because, we kind of know that it's a clown show, but, we hope for the best, and we witness the worst. But anyway, Tommy Pham, I mean, I guess he's your starting right fielder, but, he doesn't really play defense anymore. I mean, they're going to have to wheel the wheelchair out there for him. He's 37 years old. His bat was not nearly as good as it was in 2023. Kind of went back to what it was in 2022. We don't know. I mean, his bat's going to be maybe above average at best.
Yeah.
And the Pirates always like to talk. They get these older guys because we like veteran leadership. And this is a guy who punched somebody in the face over a fantasy football dispute. Okay, this is not a clubhouse.
A very
guy.
reasonable thing to do, actually. I feel like.
But he's also said that he's at the point of his career where he cares more about stats than anything.
That's not the only exactly. That's not like that's the only thing. He said he's just a distraction. McCutcheon's gonna knock him in the jaw by the end of the season.
That's not
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're gonna see him on the street, and you're gonna.
I might this season. I mean, they think that that's solving their problems. It's not even close. Not even close. And I knew that I had a feeling like after the winter meetings, like this team wasn't doing much, but this is one of the worst off seasons I feel like that I've witnessed, because this is a team that has some pieces to compete, and this is year 6 of the same administration here with administration with Shelton, and
they won't go away.
They won't go away, and we need term limits. And yet this is the least that they've done, and they're still thinking that all these young guys are going to come out of nowhere with their shitty development and do well. So it speaks to so many things on so many levels. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, I hope that's a starting point, but I don't even know. It's ridiculous. It really is.
You want to go, Jake?
I can. I was just gonna say, like, I don't mind the idea of getting a veteran. Like you said, I don't like you gotta have guys that are good clubhouse guys for these younger guys. And plus, if we were gonna sign a veteran like that, I would rather have it been a lefty to platoon with Kutch at DH, because we know he can't play there every day. Now it seems like we want Pham to play every day, which would also not make sense if we want to limit Kutch, who's maybe a year older than Pham. Like that doesn't make too much sense to me. Again, I think it would have made more sense to grab a lefty, but I would have paid the extra couple million for Verdugo. I know he might not be much of a better clubhouse option, but it's not.
He has a lot more potential
They
at
could
this
still
stage.
go get Verdugo.
They could.
I'm saying they need 2 outfielders.
Yeah,
because especially if they're thinking about moving Reynolds to first, we haven't heard much noise about that.
Yeah,
but
I hope that's not the case.
But like, yeah. But go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just parked in my garage. I was getting ready for the day, and I see this news, and my initial reaction was, whatever. Like, it's just it's just like a whatever. And they're gonna say, look, we addressed our right field. You did not. This is not addressing.
It reminds me of what they did with Mike Way Taylor last year.
Yeah.
But you get a better bat, but a worse defender. Pretty much.
But we thought he was coming off a good year.
He was, yeah.
It was fair. I thought he would be a lot better.
Yeah, I did.
But like this Tommy Pham, I feel like you can't expect like a bounce back just because his age now. He's getting up there in age. He was on 3 teams last year. Nobody signed him until the White Sox gave him a minor league deal. At the end of March, start of April kind of thing. So, and it was not very good. You look at his numbers, like we were talking about before, the show. You were telling me, Jake. His numbers, against righties and lefties, are both very bad.
Yeah,
in comparison to Connor Joe.
That's what I was talking about.
It's not an upgrade from what Connor Joe did last year.
I don't mind that they non-tendered Connor Joe, but they could have
But you gotta upgrade.
Yeah, exactly. Like Connor Joe was $800K less, and he makes more sense as a platoon because he's much better against lefties than he is against righties. So that if that was the plan here, that would make more sense.
He could play first. He could play right.
Yeah.
And he's just a great dude, I think it was tough for everybody to see him. And I wouldn't have been opposed to keeping Connor Joe, honestly, but he wouldn't just kind of as like a bench kind of role for sure. Because let's be honest, he's a bench player. But yeah, I mean, I would have much preferred, Jock Peterson. We were both pretty high on that, Jake.
Yes.
If Jock Peterson, if we signed him, I would have been like,
you don't need to trade for anyone.
I can't do somersaults. I would have done somersaults. I would have found a way.
Yeah. I would have found a way to
had
dunk.
a party here.
We would have. There would be a talk about a banner.
Yeah, that'd be a big.
But yeah, I mean, if you look at his numbers, he was just excellent last year. He was excellent against the Pirates. I would have loved to see him, in black and gold this season.
Yeah.
But then even you pivot, I would have much rather preferred basically any outfield option remaining. Randall Grichuk was right there. Jesse Winker, I think so, just because he's a lefty and he's shown some promise in the past couple years after some just horrible. He just had a couple horrible seasons with the Reds. He had a kind of a breakout. But and Verdugo, I think he's primed for a bounce back. I mean, you look at every year of his career.
I mean, he could get a nice contract next year if he has a good year.
That's an easy thing.
I've always liked him as a player.
Yeah.
I'm just cautious because of his year last year, but he still drove in 60 runs.
Yeah.
But every year it's 270s. It's double-digit home runs. 15 maybe.
And he could take advantage of the right field and
fairly
fairly
decent defense. I think
if you get Verdugo with Pham, I mean that's okay.
I'd be.
It's
fine
still
with
not what
that.
I wanted, but you can't just have Tommy Pham.
If they get Verdugo,
to me this shows you that they really believe in Jack Sawinski or Nick York to break out.
I would have rather platoon Nick York and Sawinski than Pham and Sawinski. To be honest, I'd rather see.
Well,
what you have in
Sawinski making the club.
That is
York
true
making the club?
because
that's
Frazier,
a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, because Frazier, that is.
It's gonna be very interesting.
Yeah,
there's a lot of players for just so many roster spots.
Well, should we go?
No, because we're
gonna cut short on that. We're gonna talk about that in a separate segment.
Yeah,
let's talk Buccos.
I was gonna say, speaking of interesting things, that brings us to our next point, and that is Luka Donkic gets traded from the Mavericks to the Lakers in a deal with Anthony Davis, and the Jazz were also interested in the deal. They grabbed Jalen Hood-Schifino, a former Pitt decommit, which is kind of crazy.
Oh, wow.
And I knew there was a chance he wasn't going to play
knowledge.
because he was hurt, but I picked Cavalier tickets for the Mavericks game on Sunday. I picked it like months ago because I wanted to see Luka Donkic play live.
And this was this past Sunday,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, and we've had these tickets since probably October, like a long time. And he was hurt. I was like, but you know what? They're saying he could be back before the All-Star break. He gets traded the night before, the literal night before. I was in bed. I was in bed whenever it happened. I woke up to the news at 7 a.m.
Yeah, we were
devastating.
up. I woke up. I was asleep. I fell asleep after some college basketball, some Mountain West basketball. But I was asleep and I heard Stephen A's voice. I was like, "Am I dreaming?"
Yeah.
and I wake up and I look at the TV and there's Stephen A. I was like, "Why is Stephen A on at 1 a.m. on a Saturday night?" And it's Luka Donkic to the Lakers. Just a stunning trade.
Yeah, that's insane. Like. Are you guys cool if I just break it down what I feel like for both teams? So I feel like the Mavericks knew they weren't going to extend him. They want to bring in a superstar. Anthony Davis is having a fantastic season. So that's where they're looking at. They're like, well, obviously we're going to be losing massive in the backcourt, but our front court is going to look a lot better now that we have Anthony Davis, and that could open up the door for another trade. And if you're the Lakers, you're saying, hey, whenever LeBron James retires, we have a guy we can build around. And the center that they got from the Hornets, what's his name again?
Mark Williams.
Mark Williams. Yeah, he's having a good year too. So like he's only 23, so that could be a duo for a long time. But I that's to me like, but still like if you're the Mavericks, like that's I don't care about the condition. That's such a tough trade to make with a superstar that just bought a $15 million house in Dallas, by the way. So it wasn't like he was not going to resign.
He was going to sign the Supermax in the offseason.
100%. Now he's going to make well under $100 million than he could have.
Right.
Because he's not eligible for the Supermax. So, yeah.
So Doncic's going to make more or less?
Less. Over $100 million less.
Yeah.
He's not eligible for because he moved because he got traded.
Oh,
because like if you stay with your team that like drafted you and then you're eligible.
Is that an NBA rule?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's purely.
As a lot of you know, I'm not an NBA guy, but we had to talk about this today because this is. I mean, if you're not an NBA fan, like it's still like a massive deal. Like these players, their names, I mean, I watched Luka in the finals last year.
Yeah.
Well, could you tell the audience what the Mavs did or what the Cavs did to the Mavs the following day after? I mean, the Mavs were in shambles. You talk about crashing out. They crashed out on the basketball court after losing Luka Donkic.
Yeah, so I actually recorded most, if not that entire game. If you guys want to watch my segment on it, go to UV Television. It should be up by the time this episode's uploaded. It's Daybreak. It's their episode on UV Television's YouTube, so I made a little package about it. Yeah, it was awesome. So the Cavaliers put 50 points in the first quarter, which was a franchise record. They put up 91 points in the first half, 91. And that's a franchise record. And they made 26 three-pointers.
91 points.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that in the first half.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
That's like if you like a fairly bad offensive game, that's what you put up.
And then 26 three-pointers were made that game, which was a franchise record. Sam Merrill, big shout-out because he hit 9 threes.
Wow.
27 points. All of his points were from threes. And he was the leading scorer of the day because the Cavs pretty much rested all their starters in the middle of the third quarter. And they probably would score close to 200 if everyone was playing. I mean, everyone was so efficient. They shot nearly 60% from three that day. It was incredible to watch.
Well, you talk about threes, right? And that's all the NBA is now. And that is why a lot of people have tuned out. As we know, the NBA is going through a ratings crisis.
Yeah.
Now, this is a bit of a conspiracy theory. I think
that is a conspiracy.
This is a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
But from what this part of this is true. From what I've heard, this GM for the Mavs, like, I don't think he had total control over this decision. Because this was forced. This felt very forced.
Rushed,
because,
forced,
yes, you get a good player in Anthony Davis, and you still have a chance to contend right now in the next couple years. But you only get one first-round pick for an all-NBA player like Luka.
Yeah.
It just felt rushed.
And not only the mention.
They went to the Lakers because they knew that was because the Lakers are like the Yankees of base. You know what I mean? That's a powerhouse organization.
I want to mention about that first-round pick. It's for 2029. Luka should still be in his prime by then, so that pick's shouldn't be a good first-round pick for the Mavericks at all. It's
Yeah.
not going to be a lottery pick at all.
Yeah.
Like unless Luka
Lakers-
decides to take a
That's
whole
true.
180.
Right.
You, know
You
what I
have
mean?
to get
So-
multiple.
Yeah.
And so I think the ownership, they had concerns about Luka's weight, which is understandable, and they didn't want to give him the Supermax contract. But what I don't understand is why was it forced? Why didn't you get every last ounce
Every
you
last
could?
ounce,
Every last
yeah.
ounce you could if you were going to trade Luka. And why in the middle of the season? Why didn't you do this before the season? I mean, it just feels very, very that part, because this GM for the Mavs is pretty good, and I think this shows that the Mavs ownership, there's something weird going on. Now here's a conspiracy. I don't know if I necessarily believe this, but as we talk about, the NBA ratings are bad, right? The ownership, all 32 teams, right? The owners, that's all about money. We know money talks, money motivates everything. The NBA needed a splash to get people's attention, especially with the NFL getting all the attention with the Super Bowl. NFL's just dominating revenue and ratings. And I feel like this could have been pushed by some owners saying, look, we need something to happen. Could there be a trade that happens that may need to, like the Mavs, hello Dallas, you have concerns about Luka. Why don't you trade him? Because that'll make a big splash. That'll get more money into the game. Now Dallas, the thing is though, what rebutes that is Dallas then is going to lose money because of this.
A lot of money.
But Dallas, you could make an argument though that Dallas with this trade in the short term, thank you, has a better chance of winning right now with AD down low. You got Kyrie up top.
Klay Thompson,
Klay Thompson, yeah.
Oh, kind of washed, but
and Stephen A. I was listening to what he had to say, and he said that he thinks that even though the Lakers, have the more long-term future with AD, the Mavs have a better chance of winning now. I want your guys' thoughts on that.
You can
Is
go
that
first
necessarily
if you
true?
yeah. I'm just gonna give my overall synopsis
you haven't
of it
talked
first,
much yet.
Yeah, so this was obviously Nico Harrison, who's the GM. He's been getting a lot of flack, and in some cases rightfully so. But this was clearly ownership motivated. It's not Mark Cuban anymore, and people are saying
people are still saying, "Oh, it's Mark Cuban."
No,
No,
yeah, I
it's
know. That's
not
what I kept
Mark
telling
Cuban.
people. Yeah, that's what I kept telling people.
But people were talking about conspiracy. People were saying maybe he was selling his ownership stake because higher ups, even above him, were saying we got to get rid of this guy.
Who's above him though? That's
NBA.
Yeah,
NBA.
I don't even know.
I don't know. What's yours?
Adam
I don't.
Silver.
I don't think that's true. I just
or
think
maybe he didn't want to be the. Maybe
he didn't be.
maybe he felt like Luka needed to go, but he didn't want to be the one responsible.
Well, he said
for
he was
it.
shocked about it, so I don't know.
Well,
that
of
could
course he
save
would
face.
say
Yeah,
that.
that could save face.
Yeah.
Though, but yeah.
But so this was obviously this is one of the biggest trades in NBA history, unprecedented. For the Lakers, I agree. Long term, they're set now. This was one of those things where Rob Pelinka gets a call. There's a meme about the Mavs are like, hey, we want Anthony Davis. They're sorry, we're not trading him. We'll give you Luka Doncic. When do you want?
I don't think that's how that went.
No, I know, but it's
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, no, but they were the only team that the Mavericks contacted.
Yeah.
They didn't contact. They wanted Luke.
Because
They wanted.
Luka had to go to a big brand. You're not going to send him to Toronto.
Why
or-
not? I mean, if they have picks, they needed pick. They need to get. Rudy Gobert got 4 first-rounders
Yeah.
and 4 role players
Yeah.
for Rudy Gobert a few years ago. And I know this trade deadline, what we've seen is there's only been the Jimmy Butler trade only got Miami a 1 pick and then a second round or 2.
That's an interesting deal.
And then Ingram to the Raptors was only a first. I can't even remember now, but so there's not these big deals where it's a lot of picks go in different places, but still. Anthony Davis, and I like Anthony Davis. He's having a great year. And last year he had a great. He's been silencing a lot of people that said he couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah, he's having
and he couldn't be a really
phenomenal year
productive
this
player.
year.
I think they need a lot more. I think if you trade with Brooklyn, Brooklyn, they're rebuilding, but they want to kind of quickly they're kind of buy sell a little bit. They have a lot of picks. Some of these teams with a lot of picks could have been in them. There's so many teams. Any team other than the Lakers could have gotten a better offer for Dallas. So I think in that regard, it's really, really awful. I think it was definitely pushed by ownership. They're under new ownership of a person I will not mention that I do not really really like as an individual. I'm just gonna say that.
Who's their owner?
Their owner. I'm pretty sure it's Miriam Adelson, who, if you follow anything politically, she's not.
Yeah, she I think she wants to.
no idea
I
who
think
she
she wants to get a lot of casinos and stuff instead.
She
of,
is.
right. That's the whole.
Her
thing, like-
husband, who passed away a little bit ago, was like a big casino person.
yeah, and that's what she's more focused on. than
They're
any
very
NBA
rich
team.
and they're very. Yeah, so I don't
Mark
want to.
Cuban, what have you
Real
done?
people who understand though, but yeah. So for the Lakers, this is great for the Lakers because not only they get Anthony Davis, they get Maxi Kleba. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
Markieff
kidding.
Morris.
And Markieff, we love
Morris.
Markieff.
He got like what 2 games played.
Yeah,
this
he's
year or
at this
something.
point in his career, he's just kind of like
He's just there.
like
Yeah.
for the Nuggets or like
Is he a
Tristan
big-
Thompson.
Tristan Thompson.
He's
yeah.
a big,
Tristan-
right? Or no? Is
He's
he
a power forward.
Okay.
He's a forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a forward.
So he's not gonna. But then they're gonna get rid of Maxi. So it's really just Luka. But
Yeah.
this, like you mentioned, Jake. I mean, this sets you up for years and years down the line because Luka Donkic played like 6 years in the league and he's 25.
Yeah.
He has a lot in front of him, and I think he's gonna play with his hair on fire because that's the ultimate disrespect by the Mavericks.
Yeah.
Wow. And
Hey,
like,
we-
had no one saw. He
Yeah, it's
didn't
like,
see
oh,
it coming.
Oh,
Yeah,
you,
he didn't-
ca-
he
he
was
was like,
shocked.
oh, you carried us to our finals. Nope, but you're way
You're
too much. We're not
you
gonna
weigh
let you.
too much.
Yeah.
You're not like what is that?
First final appearances since Dirk
Yeah, they're
Nowitzki.
basically
I
saying
don't-
he's a fat ass.
Yeah, and it's not
Like,
even like
that's
it's
what that's.
it's
Yeah.
not a Zion issue. It's not even
Yeah.
that. It's not even
And
close
the
to where
Pelicans
that
still
is.
haven't traded him, and that's been
Now,
an issue
well,
forever.
let's talk about that. Do we think the Lakers maybe overlooked this issue? Like, has the media, have common fans overlooked that issue? Like, is this a real issue with Luka that is concerning? Does that shorten his prime? Or, like, because I feel like that's the only way I see this being good for the Mavericks. If they win in the short term and then Luka turns out that he...
No, if they would have, imagine if the Mavericks won a championship this year.
that would be great.
Like after they trade
Let's
Luka.
sit him up.
if Luka wasn't hurt,
I
for a while,
don't know.
there is a weird scenario where they're like a top 3 seed in the NBA if Luka is healthy.
Well,
You know
I
what I mean?
wanna-
So I don't know.
So to your question, there's a little bit to it, but it was completely overblown. It's not a big issue. He was kind of out of gas, but for the finals run,
and
but
he's
it's a
bad
finals run.
defensively. But
He is.
a
He
lot
played
of
every
great
minute, yeah.
scorers.
Yeah,
on
but
him.
he
played
got
a lot of
like
minutes.
he got better, in the playoffs. He just like the regular season, he just gave no effort.
I do
but
remember that in the NBA Finals, like you could tell he was
gassed. Yeah, because he was
gassed.
carrying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why like the Mavericks. Oh, we want to upgrade our defense. Like defense wins championships. Give me a break with that nonsense.
3-point
What are you
shooting
even
league.
saying?
And yeah.
Like you don't believe that. You're just trying to
The NBA
make an excuse for that.
If you
but-
watch if you watch any NBA game, the lack of defensive. That's why I don't like to watch the NBA. The lack of defensive effort.
Yeah.
is
We
just
need
like,
more Drew Holidays.
It
Like,
feels like a
Drew
like just
Holiday.
like
We love Drew Holiday.
backyard
Drew Holiday.
basketball, But a
But-
lot of basketball feels that way these days.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
So as for like both these teams this year, so Dallas, I still think they're a championship contender. I wouldn't put them with Oklahoma City,
No.
in terms of in the West. I wouldn't even put them with Denver, honestly. I mean, I would
agree.
put them with Denver. I
You
kind of
think?
would because I'm a little wary on the Nuggets right now because especially if they don't do nothing at the
Yeah.
trade deadline. I really like their depth. What they've done is they've been able to supplement their roster a lot better in the past couple years. I love their front court. I mean, I love their front court now with obviously Davis, and you got Gafford, and you got Derek Lively. Like they're
yeah,
really
I
set
forgot
there.
about Lively.
They're
yeah.
really set there.
Yeah.
I like the Klay Thompson. He's not what he once was, but he's
He had
still
a bad game against the Cavaliers, but he's still,
Yeah, he's still-
an offensive.
he's
threat.
still he's still a good 3-point shooter. And they don't play. I love Dante Exum. They don't play him, but he's just
he started the game I went to.
Oh,
he actually
really?
wasn't bad, yeah.
yeah.
But Kyrie wasn't playing this. That's probably why.
But yeah, so the question is though, they got Kyrie, they got Anthony Davis. I think those are on a championship team. Those are really good twos.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think either one's like a one on a championship
Maybe they
team.
go after Kevin Durant.
Oh
that would be
my
crazy.
Lord,
They won't.
imagine
are
That's
the
a
Suns
great-
in it this year or no?
They're 500. They just got their
Yeah.
doors blown off them
Oh,
by
I
Oklahoma
saw. Oh,
City
that's
last
speaking
night.
of Durant because we love MLB scoops.
Oh yeah.
MLB Scoop yesterday, he said breaking the Suns. The Suns are interested in trading Kevin Durant or something like
Well,
that.
I have a message for MLB Scoops.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
You've been swinging and missing recently a lot.
What
Let's be
about
honest.
Luis Robert? I thought he was coming to Pittsburgh.
I
Like,
saw
what?
Kim.
Yeah.
I saw Kim
I
supposed to
know.
be a pirate.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even I mean, just overall, you've just one of the recent signings, or the Pete Alonso one. He was literally like 10 minutes late. And then everybody was like, we got receipts. Like, he's
Yeah.
just not. But
Wow.
But yeah, so for the Lakers, I think they, they're obviously better, I think better because I think Luka's a better player than Anthony Davis. No
Yeah.
disrespect.
Yeah.
It's just Luka's a
He is.
kind of, top 3 player in the game when he's
Do you
offensively
think
when
the
he's healthy.
Lakers can win a championship this year? Or
No,
not
I
really?
don't. I don't think
It's
so.
gonna be weird because LeBron and Luka are 2 ball dominant guys. Like one of them
People
has
are
to take a lesser
saying
role.
like the 2 of them together might not work, but
Yeah.
LeBron
I think it could work.
LeBron
I
can
think
work
it really
with
works.
anybody.
Yeah.
Like
It's just
Yeah.
weird. Like it all depends because like I know this is like a Walmart version of the Luka and LeBron, but like what Russell Westbrook and James Harden that just did not work out. I don't know if it's gonna be a similar situation like that.
I think like
I feel like one
LeBron.
of them
LeBron
has to take a lesser role. But LeBron, I mean,
LeBron
yeah.
is a basketball
is.
player.
He is.
Luka could dominate the scoring more, I think, but LeBron takes pride in defense.
Luka
He
could
takes
use
pride
playing
in
off the
other
ball a
things,
little more too to
rebounding.
get some a little rest in the short term. But
Yeah.
I think the Lakers, they could win a playoff series. They could win a first, depending on who they play.
Now,
as
next
long as it's
year,
not
if
the
they load
Nuggets,
up-
because every year they
next
lose the
year they'll
Nuggets.
probably load up because LeBron,
Yeah.
right? Now the big thing for LeBron, like, is this like a thing like we're gonna make a run with you, LeBron, with Luka in your final year or two, or is this like, look, we don't really care what we do with LeBron these next few years, and we're just ready to let Luka take over the franchise? Like, what does this say to LeBron?
I think they're gonna try to do both because
Yeah.
they're gonna keep adding. I think the Lakers are just like, hey, this LeBron experiment worked. We won a championship in the bubble, and Anthony Davis. Like that experiment worked. I think they're just looking to get a guy that they can build around so that they're not completely screwed
Yeah.
whenever LeBron's gone. Because whenever LeBron's gone, they're gonna trade AD. I imagine that would have been the case anyway.
But LeBron, I mean, he wants to win.
Yeah.
And obviously getting Luka Donkic is, but like, it's not like he has a lot of time left. Although he's playing like he does, but eventually he's gonna have to retire.
I think they need to make another really big move. I like
Yeah,
the
I
Mark
agree.
Williams a lot, but Austin Reeves, we love the guy, but I don't think he's a 3 on a I don't even think he's a 3 on a
I
championship
mean,
team.
they could trade him and other people for.
There were
elite-
rumors
People were
elite
saying he should have been
shooting
part of the
guard.
package to Dallas. This Austin Reeves guy.
yeah, the Dallas
That
just
wa-
got so much less than they could have.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, that would have been. I mean, you could slide Clay to either the 3 or the bench at that point.
You could
if that
be-
was the
yeah, I
case,
would-
I mean, so I don't
yeah.
know. It would be interesting.
But yeah, now the Lakers, they traded Dalton Connect. He's on the Hornets now.
Yeah.
And that
From
the,
Tennessee.
the
the
Mark,
rookie.
yeah.
But honestly, I don't mind the Lakers giving up because he's a guy that got drafted as a 23-year-old. It's not like he was going to develop much more than just being, a decent scoring threat and a good 3-point shooter at best. Like, it's not like you're trading 19-year-old Bub Carrington where it's like, okay, he has room to grow. Like, I think that's a good trade for the Lakers. They grabbed a guy his
Bub's
same
been
age.
Cooking.
He has.
He's
He's
been
been
cooking.
good. But, I mean, they grabbed a center that's the same age as Dalton Connect, and he has way more NBA pedigree, and he's going to be there for a while. So.
The only question with him is he's hurt a lot.
He
Mark
is, yeah,
Williams.
he is.
Oh, shoot, I just-
But he's been having a fantastic season when healthy. I mean, he's nearly averaging a double-double. I mean, that's going to be huge for 2 guys that are very good at not moving the ball around with Luka and LeBron. Like, it'll be interesting.
I gotta start watching some NBA, so maybe we could.
I just
talk
wanted
about it
just
more
some
on
others
here.
of note. We'll just mention Jimmy Butler to the Heat, obviously a big trade.
To the Warriors.
Or to the Warriors
Yeah.
from the Heat to the
He
Warriors. I was
won it
thinking of
out,
Andrew
right?
Wiggins.
He won
yeah.
it out.
But it was weird because,
We've
like,
seen Jimmy Butler multiple years carry the Heat in the playoffs,
Yeah.
like as a lower seed.
but
Like that's a
this
good
has been his
player.
worst year in a while, though.
Oh,
and
really?
It was just.
Okay.
I mean, he's still been a good.
He's just
player.
kind of
It's
been.
just-
He's just been
Well,
like really bothersome.
I mean,
Because he
just-
want to
yeah.
be. If you don't
Yeah.
want to be there,
You're right.
right?
But my guy Andrew Wiggins is getting traded in
Yeah.
the package of the Heat.
Yeah, now he's back with Kevin Love,
He's
and that
back
was the
with-
trade back then whenever the Cavs had the number 1 pick and they traded
Yeah.
Wiggins for Love.
So
Now
this
they're
is. I just
teammates.
want to. I kind of want to toot my own horn here, just because I kind of predicted this would happen, or not predicted,
He's
but
NBA
See, there
scoops. He's
you go.
NBA
on
scoops.
sideline, I said the Warriors. Jimmy Butler's a great. I didn't predict it was gonna. I said Warriors. Jimmy Butler. I know he was declining. He didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
But I was like, that would be a really good fit. The Warriors they got their like last dance almost, but not nearly.
So yeah,
enough.
so who you got on that team? You got Curry and Butler as your main,
And
Yeah,
Draymond.
Green,
and Draymond
so,
playing defense
and Jonathan
punching
Kuminga.
people. And
Yeah.
Knocking
I mean,
him
Kevin
out.
Looney's still on the team, right?
Yeah, but he's not any
He's
good.
he's just a rebounder. That's all.
Yeah.
He does.
So you got Draymond, Curry, Jimmy Butler. Who else do we got?
Kuminga
that.
averages like 15, so he's like decent.
Yeah.
And-
Kaminga.
Jonathan Kuminga, and then they got Brandon Podziemski. Oh,
Where's
point
Oh,
guard.
don't forget
where's
about
Brandon
Quentin Post.
Ingram?
And Quentin Post.
Where's Brandon?
Brandon Ingram, he got traded from the Pelicans.
It was a weird trade
to the
Yeah, that was a
Raptors.
weird trade.
The
Like,
Raptors. I saw
Are
something.
the Raptors any good this year?
no.
No, but they've won a few in a row. But I saw some as like, this is like the greatest play-in five.
Yeah.
Like that's like the play-in starting five, the greatest play-in starting five of all time. They actually could make the play-in because I think Chicago's gonna fall. They
yeah, they trade Levine. I mean,
and so who knows? The East is just bad. So
It's always been that way. The East.
that's why let's go Cavs. Come on,
the
let's
Cavs
do it.
and the Pacers. We got
Yeah,
the Pacers.
Yeah,
gonna
I like
swing.
the Pacers. I wouldn't mind. If
I
they
hope
did
the
well.
Pacers swing a move.
Yeah,
Get
just
somebody.
don't let
When's
the
the
Celtics.
deadline?
Today it's 4 or something. That's the
Wow,
deadline.
maybe
Let's-
we'll have some
let's,
updates
let's,
for you.
Wait, let's get some. Let's see if anything.
Yeah, I might actually see. We'll go to. Oh, also DeAndre Hunter, the Cavs. That was awesome.
Yes,
Where's he from?
The
Yusuf
Um,
Nurkic.
Hawks.
What's his name still? Is Trey Young still with
Yeah.
the Hawks?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's still good, right?
yeah.
And the Hawks suck.
They're always like the 9th team or 10th team, and they make the play-in, and they either lose or they get boat raced in the first round. Now
Trey Young
Yeah.
requests the trade.
he
Trae
could
Young.
honestly.
Like, why do you want to be in with the Hawks?
I'm glad they didn't do because he's been awesome for the Cavs. But I wanted Trey Young to get traded to the Cavs for Darius Garland and some picks, obviously, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now I don't because you don't want to mess up this team.
And then it's funny, the Kings, they traded De'Aaron Fox, who's one of the more underrated players in
He's
basketball,
very good, yeah.
to the Spurs with Wembanyama and Chris Paul. And then the Kings are just taking the Bulls players. So they got Levine
Yeah.
and they got DeMar DeRozan, who I love DeMar DeRozan.
Who's the star for Sacramento? Wemby. Or
No,
I'm thinking
San
of the
Antonio.
Spurs. Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
Sacramento, now it's
You guys
they,
can see.
now
I
it's
De'Aaron
like-
Fox,
don't know
it was.
shit.
Oh no, I guess DeMontis Sabonis.
Sabonis
right?
could be considered, but I think it was De'Aaron Fox. Like I
Yeah,
really
he
like
was,
De'Aaron
yeah.
Fox. So
He
a lot of
played at
moving
Kentucky,
parts.
didn't he?
Yeah.
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 He did. There you go. Look at that. Look
Yeah.
at you.
Banner.
Look
I
at
knew
you.
De'Aaron
Yes.
Fox played.
So, and Yusuf Nurkic. Yusuf
Yeah,
Nurkic was
Yusuf
traded. I said no, he was guaranteed to be traded.
Yeah.
He was traded to the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets, they got a first
the
round
Hornets-
pick.
Yeah, the Hornets making moves.
Aren't
Jeez.
the Hornets? Why are they?
They're bad.
Why are they
They're gonna
buying
waive.
him?
They're gonna waive him. They're gonna get
Yeah.
rid of him.
Yeah.
And why
Or
would
they're
they
gonna trade
for him?
Well, they might just. They're gonna trade him somewhere else now too.
Yeah.
They'll probably trade him somewhere else. Like they got a first round
Yeah.
pick. They're actually doing a good work right now. I think actually
Yeah.
the
I
Hornets.
mean,
but-
it looks like they're going to build around LaMelo Ball. I hope they don't trade him. I know he's injury prone, questionable personality, but he's insane. Like,
Remember LeVar Ball there for a
LeVar
while? He
Ball,
was
yeah.
all over
Cooking.
the place.
I was
Well, yeah.
watching that back recently just because it was funny.
but
He
he,
was
he
like,
was low key right,
On
except
Colin?
D'Angelo Ball didn't have the
Remember
most
on
potential.
Colin?
yeah,
He was a 3-star.
yeah.
but
Colin
other than
was
that,
like
he was
making
right
fun
about
of Jason Whitlock.
Yeah.
All right, we good?
Well, I want to talk about
no,
another basketball team.
no, no, no.
Yes, yes,
Oh, no.
we gotta talk about.
Yeah, we do.
We have to talk.
I'm not
about
talking.
them.
I'm done.
We'll make this short and sweet.
Well, the
You guys
Pitt
talk.
Panthers. Do you want to go get some water? You want
I
to
just filled
for
it
a
up.
While?
I just was wandering out
Do
there.
I have to
trying
show you where the water?
Yeah.
This is the second time I had to show him where the water fountain is. It's in one spot.
We're
out
going to need
there.
the trash can because we're all going to be throwing up, to be honest.
There was a guy that literally was. He threw up in front. I seen that already this
At
morning.
Point Park, someone threw up
Someone-
near you.
Yeah.
Can you
probably-
tell us that story?
Yeah,
Someone
well, I was
probably
just-
said Pitt Basketball, and he just...
I was just walking. No, he was by himself. He was just like gagging and he was spitting out, and he just started. I was walking over to my radio show, Sports Scoop and Nathan Schivins, WPPJ 670 AM, Point Park's radio station. Yeah, this was. He just started like. I was just like, oh Lord, and then there was like a cop over there, and I was looking out the window. I was like, what? That
You know what
guy's
would have been
gone.
even funnier if you walked in, you opened the door, and then this guy came out, he vomited on
Oh,
you, and
man.
then you had to
I
have a
would've been
vomit
done.
shirt on the stomach.
Pirates. That makes sense. I got my pirates.
You got your pirates.
No, but actually, this is a
with
nice.
vomit on
My
it.
mom got me this for Christmas, so I
It's very
can't.
nice.
It's a nice sweatshirt.
You look a little
but
nicer with some vomit on there.
It would not look nicer. That's no. Okay, let's just go ahead. Talk about
Pitt
Pitt basketball.
So look. So they were down. So we were. I was watching.
They
the
were
news.
down big.
I didn't watch
I
a
was
single
watching
second.
the
thank
news,
goodness.
right? I was like, oh, I'll turn on Pitt in a little bit, and then Nate texts us. He says, It's 15-4. Virginia. And we were talking about how this team needs to, win all of their against bad opponents.
Not have any bad losses.
Right. Not have any bad losses. And they lose to Virginia by double digits. This is a bottom 5 ACC team.
Bottom feeder.
There's about 10 ACC teams that are very but that team is like bottom 5.
Yeah.
There's going to be some teams like Notre Dame and, coming up that you're supposed to win but are better than that. And you already lost to Virginia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got to go to UNC, a team that you already lost, you already beat. They're going to be looking
But
to beat.
they're pissed off because they've lost a couple in a row.
So Pitt.
Are they going to be? Is Pitt going to be
Pitt
pissed off? I don't know. I don't know about this team. I don't know about the fight in this team. I don't know about the heart.
Yeah.
I don't know about anything with this team.
It's not there because now we're getting actually guys that are transferring for more money.
So now you basically have to win out and maybe lose one. Like
they got to get big
games.
time wins now.
If you lose to UNC, call it a season because then you have to win out from there.
Exactly. You have to win the ACC tournament at that point. You have to pull an NC State. Basically, that's basically what they'd have to like at this rate. Yeah.
We're not lucky enough as a
No, we don't have. Who's that big guy? NC State, Derek Burns, right? No, not Derek.
Pitt
Burns.
has the opposite, but his last name was Burns.
Yeah.
DJ Burns.
DJ Burns. Where's he at now? What's he doing?
He was with the Cavs.
Guangdong Tigers.
Yeah.
He's
so
big. He's too big for the
He was
NBA.
on the. Oh yeah.
They were saying he could get drafted as an NFL offensive lineman, but that never happened. Obviously, he stuck with basketball.
If he lost a little weight, he could be an NBA.
He was like 23,
He's actually
24,
he's a player for the Korean Basketball League's Goyang Sono Sky Gunners.
Nice.
Ni hao. No, we like DJ, but the one thing that Pitt hasn't done is gotten a good big man. I mean, they get nothing inside the paint.
Yeah.
Cam Corin occasionally, but he's just undersized. Guillermo Diaz-Graham is a stick out there. So we know how awful this season is. We don't need to go into that. Or how awful this stretch has been. They still have a chance to turn it around, but they got that win at UNC. You think they're going to carry some momentum maybe, and they haven't. And even in that win against UNC, we saw the same crap, with them defensively.
They took everything they had to beat a bad UNC team at home. Like that was everything they had.
Yeah, that tells you a lot.
You could they were
UNC had to turn it over like 900 times for them to win that game. And so they've had two really good wins. UNC they had to get a bunch of turnovers to win that game.
Yeah.
And Ohio State was a miracle. So this team as a whole, and then their only real dominant good win was against West Virginia.
But that doesn't look like that. That looks.
They're a completely different team.
Yeah.
I think teams have figured out, you stay man to man on Pitt, they're not going to be able to get that creative.
I hate that they switch everything. They switch everything all the time
on defense,
and it consistently creates matchup problems for Pitt.
Yeah.
I hate that. It's you can pick and choose when you want to switch. You got to communicate though.
Obviously, teams know how to play this team offensively and defensively.
It's like the Steelers. It's like Julian Edelman when he's saying like, I could get like other teams like we get whatever we want against.
I always had 9 catches against the Steelers. So my question, I want to talk about Jeff Capel because I know we've been Jeff Capel supporters, but like. Okay, this offense, this guy, George Mikowski or whatever his name is.
George Michalowski.
He was posting like all their offensive possessions. And it's the same stuff, right? It's, ball screens, then Jalen Lowe dribbles around, guys do one-on-one hero ball. There's no creativity to the offense. These teams play man-to-man, and they shut us down basically. We got to hope for Jalen Lowe hero ball. Defensively, it's a mess. Like, my question is, what does Jeff Capel, other than bringing in good recruits in terms of guard play, what does he specialize in when it comes to, playing well on the basketball court in terms of offense and defense? What does he bring to the table? Like, we're not seeing improvement. We're not seeing growth. We're not seeing creativity.
We're seeing the opposite.
Well, honestly, depending on how the season ends, well, most likely no matter what, unless Pitt makes a tournament somehow, we have a new athletic director, and his job could low-key be in question, depending on how the season ends, right?
Right.
I mean, if they win 19, 20 games, like that could be a decision that the new athletic director has to make.
Like, what? So. But my question is to you guys is, like, should Jeff Capel, like, is this on Jeff Capel at this point? Because we're just not, like, what does Jeff Capel do that's making this team better? I don't see it. I mean, I for 6 of 7 years now, you're probably not going to make the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't want to have to answer this question because I'm a big. I like Jeff Capel.
I do too. Yeah, I do.
I think
He's
a
a
great,
likable guy.
and I just don't. I agree. It's just, and he just like. He does like this or something but there was like the one moment where Virginia was in a huddle still and the Pitt team was just on the court like with the cheerleaders.
They were staring at the cheerleaders. I think one of my greatest quotes on Twitter, I said, and I posted the Zach Austin thing.
Yeah.
It's like Pitt's focused on all the wrong things, and then it was the Pitt looking at the cheerleaders as Virginia's huddled.
Yeah.
There just seems to be a lack of preparation.
Yeah.
And a lack of, what does Capel specialize in? I don't know.
I mean,
I can't tell you.
You don't go into that Virginia game being down 15-4 early unless something was up.
I think it's more, but I think it's more I think it's just the players on this team.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think a lot of it's just indifference about winning. I think Damian Dunn is a winner. I honestly do. I know we've given him crap. But he's won, and he
cares.
Yeah. I think he cares, and he was trying his hardest in that Virginia game you watched. Right. He was trying. Jalen Lowe just gives up. Yeah. I've lost a lot of
He's talented.
respect for him.
He's not a point guard.
Defensively, he gives up a lot of plays.
He's bad defensively.
Capel took him out of the game for a large stretch against Virginia. Ish Leggett, he's just. Remember, he started out the year he was shooting 65%.
Yeah.
And now he's
I haven't heard him do
shooting
anything.
30% every. He's not shooting well at all. He's driving to the hoop recklessly. It's just really tough.
Yeah.
I don't want to I think part of it has to be on Jeff Capel, but I feel I think he's a great recruiter. I think he's a good I think he's a pretty good motivator. Honestly, I know they've been flat and everything in some of these games. But I think overall motivation and stuff. But I don't know coaching wise. I understand why there's criticism.
We talk about the players, staring at the cheerleaders, not being in the huddle, the lack of focus. That might have been over exaggerated, but the Zach Austin TikTok when you're losing 4 games in a row, there seems to be maybe a lack of focus and a lack of determination, a lack of wanting to win and the will to win. And that falls on the coach. Let's see how they respond because, last year they responded well. But they started getting going around this time. It's getting late before
They started
this.
getting going when they beat Duke. That was what springboarded them. And that was what was that, mid-January. So we're way behind.
I cannot believe that at all, yeah.
Yeah,
we miss Blake Hinson a lot.
We did miss Blake Hinson.
That was 2 years ago. I'm talking about last year.
No, he was on the team last year.
Was he on the team?
Yeah, he hit the 3. He was standing. Don't you remember? He was at Duke. He was standing on the thing, and he was messing with.
Yeah, phenomenal season. No, that was last year.
He played 2 years.
We didn't beat Duke 2 years ago.
Oh, that's right. Oh, and he stood on that. I was thinking that was 2 years ago. That was last year. Okay.
But yeah. But before we go,
years confused.
But before we go to our next topic, it's just you have to look at the team 2 years ago. Look how different that team was. Every single game they wanted to win. It was a veteran group that wanted to win one last time, and the guys that weren't veterans, it was Federico, and the Diaz-Graham twins who wanted to make a name for themselves.
They just wanted to make an impact. They wanted to try to do whatever they could.
Yeah, and now it's
this team is younger.
Yeah,
you would say, right? In a way.
But there's a lot of seniors.
Kind of, there is
Ish Leggett, Damian Dunn,
Austin
Cam Corn's older.
They have
Austin.
a lot. They just have guys that aren't in it.
But when your main player is a sophomore in Jalen Lowe, Blake Hitson was the veteran player and he was really good. Jalen Lowe's your best talent.
Yeah, but his IQ, basketball IQ, Blake Hitson could be questioned at times.
So there could be a lack of leadership. There isn't that player. There isn't that leader on the team. You know what I mean right now. There just isn't that leader.
And you would think it was Leggett going into this season, especially.
He hasn't really given me.
But he's a side player.
He's not a leader. Yeah.
I mean, last year he was a 6th man.
Yeah.
Right, and that's why he thrived.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing him regress because he doesn't thrive as a starter. Maybe.
I just one point I want to make the only saving grace Pitt's still on the bubble just because this bubble is just horrendously bad this year.
I think Joe Lenardi still had us in the last 4 in.
Yeah, but that's that's still
I think he updated. We're at the end of first 4 out now, but or next 4 out or something. But So there is still, but I wouldn't get your hopes up with this team. I mean, it actually wouldn't shock me if we beat North Carolina, just because.
That'd be crazy.
Like, I don't know if North Carolina's checked out.
We beat them since the last few years. We beat them
Hubert
4
Davis.
times.
We
That's
swept
the
them
most
2
of
years.
any team.
We swept them 2
So
years
it's
ago,
any
team. Yeah.
and we swept them during Capel's second year, I think, with like Xavier Johnson and all those guys.
Hmm.
We've
I'm
had
pretty
their
sure we
number,
did.
But I feel like
But then
We
changed
did
the
with
rest of the season.
Nelly and Jamaris because
we
I remember that
definitely
home
did, yeah.
game. It was crazy.
That we definitely.
That was the
did.
same day as the Sun Bowl. I remember I watched the North Carolina Pitt game, and then it was the Sun Bowl, UCLA and Pitt,
Yep.
and then the road game.
Jeff Capel has to do something massive if he wants to turn. He needs to make a bold decision and a bold move,
But like that's
or
like
do something different because what's happening now is not working.
when you like. Not only did they get down, but you're thinking, oh, but you can come back. Like it's early.
They always get down in games too. Generally,
But
it's just
they played the third or fourth worst team in the ACC, a team that's ranked 150th in the net,
Yeah.
and they were they were exchanging baskets when they needed to come back in the game.
their defense is
They
terrible.
let Day Ames go off on them.
Yeah.
He's averaging like 7 points a game.
You have to play good. I mean, their offense has the issues as it is, as being very bland and very Jalen Lowe and one-on-one centric. But their defense is the real issue.
Yeah. It's
Like, why not play some zone? Play some
They
zone.
did.
They tried.
They
Yeah,
did against Virginia, and they gave up.
Yeah.
And it got worse because we
Yeah, it
probably
got
don't
worse.
practice it
Yeah.
enough.
They did like the 2-man zone. They might have done it a little bit against UNC, but then they did it against Virginia, and it was just abysmal.
Let me sit up.
But maybe I change the lineup around, put some fresh bodies in there. I don't even
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
Put in Liam McNaughton.
Yeah, Hampton
Throw
Lynn.
him in there.
Start Papa Conte at center instead of Cam Corrin. Why not?
We haven't seen.
Why
We
not?
saw him a little bit in the early. We
Yeah.
have not seen him much at
The
all.
issues
Yeah.
though, like recently, haven't even been Cam Corrin though. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
He's
that's
been
true.
scoring at least.
Yeah.
He's been
You know.
like it's just like I think he he's not the greatest at rebounding. He should be a lot better.
He's
Sometimes he
terrible
doesn't
at
give enough
rebounding.
fight. But I think he actually does care a little bit. But
There's
I'm just,
so many issues. Like we talked about the big thing on this team being the inside, the big guys. But the issues this year have branched out to so many different areas. With
Federico's
defense and
doing
and
a
guard
great job
play.
with
Yeah,
Texas
yeah.
Tech. I saw him getting
Of
alley oops.
course.
He's
That's
like,
always how it goes.
yeah.
And then what does that speak to Capel?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like the same numbers, honestly, but he's just like making like impact plays
Yeah.
for one of the better teams in the country now,
Yeah.
Texas Tech. So
All right. Well, you guys want to go to our next
Yes.
topic? We are going to talk about the NFL honors.
The NFL honors are tonight. Well, I mean, we already know who won and everything. But yeah. We're gonna make our predictions. Well, like who we would give the award to.
Yeah.
A lot of these are, there's like high end favorites to win it, right? Like, who's like Saquon. We could start with Offensive Player of the Year. Saquon is according to this article I have here, Bleacher Report. Thank you.
Who are the
Bleacher.
other? Just
So,
curiosity.
Offensive Player of the Year, Saquon Barkley minus 3,000 to win. Jamar Chase plus 1,000. Joe Burrow plus 4,000. Lamar Jackson plus 4,000.
but what's this for? I'm sorry.
Offensive Player of the Year.
Oh, okay, I was going
And
to say
Derrick
MVP.
Henry plus 7,500. I don't know what these odds are provided by.
Yeah.
What about one issue? Where's one issue, George Biggins?
Yeah.
Bro, he's gonna tweet something.
Yeah,
tonight.
Michael
he's gonna
Brewerly,
be like,
yeah.
He's gonna be like Michael Brewerly's gonna say, "Bro, I'm better than all
Minor,
these
minor
guys."
setback for a major comeback.
Loading.
Hashtag
Yeah.
loading. I don't know. Yeah, Saquon Barkley. I'll
Yeah.
just say that.
I think
don't
Joe
know.
Burrow though should be ahead of Jamar Chase in the odd
Mm,
because I get Jamar, but where's Jamar Chase without Joe Burrow? I mean, you have to
but
understand.
you can make that argument for any like quarterback wire. It's like a tough thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
And plus, if
You know
you
what
have
I mean?
Joe Burrow that up, you might as well have him pretty much
They
as the
should have
top
the
runner
same
of MVPs.
odds. I feel like, but Joe Burrow is in the. We'll save MVP for last.
Okay.
But yeah, Saquon. We all agree like Saquon's
Yeah.
gonna win. Saquon deserves it.
Yeah.
If he's not gonna win MVP, he has to at least win that, right?
Yeah.
All right, Defensive Player of the Year. Pat Surtain is the favorite. We also have Trey Hendrickson, who led. I don't know if he led the league. He at least led.
He had a
the
lot of
Yeah.
He led
sacks.
the league in sacks, I believe. Him and T.J. Watt have the same odds at plus 700 to win. And then you have Myles Garrett at plus 7,500, and our our guy Zach Bond at plus 10,000 odds to win
Yeah.
the defensive player of the year.
I know exactly who I'm picking for defensive player of the year, and it is the favorite. I think Patrick Surtain, just because of how much that Broncos defense improved
Yes.
to become one of the better, if not one of the best units in football. He was so important to that team. He was a lockdown cornerback. He was excellent, and not much else to say. I mean, that was a playoff team. That was a team that made the playoffs, and they probably
their
won't make it if
defense
it wasn't
deserves
for him.
some sort of award.
Yeah.
Because this was a team that gave up 70 points to the Miami Dolphins last year. And with a lot of the same players, was a top 2, top 3 defense in football. And Pat Surtain, I mean, anytime you had a top receiver in fantasy this year and he was going up against the Broncos, like, the guy had a bad week because he was going up against Pat Surtain. Like, Mike Evans, like, I remember once he had, like, 1 catch, and I had it was all Pat Surtain. Like, that trade is crazy. That draft, actually, when they drafted Pat Surtain, because I remember the Cowboys wanted Pat Surtain. Like, all their fans wanted Pat Surtain, and Denver took Pat Surtain at 9.
No one thought they were going to do that
And then
either.
the Cowboys got Micah Parsons at 10. So, like, and that's just, like, 2 of the best defensive player. Like, both of those things worked out. Nate, you're quiet over there.
Yeah, no, I was just waiting for you to finish whatever you're saying over there. No, no, I agree. I don't know. I mean, I like Trey Anderson, but I think it was a great point about how he just elevated that defense, and also Bonino. What's the guy? But Nick Bonino.
Nick Bonino.
Yeah. For Denver.
No, it's Bonito. Nick Bonino.
Bonino's a Penguin.
I was getting confused because Bonino, Penguins.
Bonino.
That sounds like that sounds like the SpongeBob.
You guys don't remember that?
You remember the SpongeBob where
No, I'm not done.
Are you done?
You remember the SpongeBob where the Krabby Patty was like going?
Yeah.
That's what that sounded like. Yeah, that's exactly what that
No,
sounded
but you
like.
guys remember the Nick Bonino
Yeah, I
thing.
remember.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, but it's a bit excessive.
There was a video of me I put on my YouTube channel in 6th grade. It was my first ever YouTube video. And it was me going, Bonino, and it went viral. No, not really.
It went
but
viral.
With my school, it went viral.
We need to find the clip, actually.
Oh, yeah, we'll put it up.
Oh, nice.
We can put it up for
I'm
you.
not
Yeah.
putting it on the Instagram.
Our eyes and our eyes only, even though everyone can see it.
But yeah, Patrick Tam. I don't really.
You don't care about these awards.
I
You know
honestly don't care about the awards.
Go back to the water
I
fountain.
honestly don't.
Go back to the
I'm
water
not-
fountain.
Yeah, but like I think Trey Anderson, he had a great year, but like the Bengals defense is so bad. It's just like the impact kind of thing wasn't there.
Right.
TJ Watt. I didn't even know he was still on the Steelers. He disappeared
Yeah.
end of the season. I didn't even know he was there.
Don't talk crap on TJ. TJ
Why
Watt
not?
is not the problem with this team.
It's
okay?
one. I mean, his play
He's
at the
not-
end was one of them. His play at the end of the year was was an issue.
Okay.
Wait,
One
yeah.
issue.
I'll
It
give
wasn't a
him
major
He
issue.
can't
I'll
make
give
all
him-
the plays. He
He didn't make any plays.
He had 6 forced fumbles throughout the year.
I'll give him the
Okay,
benefit
yes,
of the
yeah,
doubt. Teams were finally
exactly.
double teaming him. Like,
Right.
You know what I mean? And we don't have any.
Yeah, but-
Where's Alex Highsmith? Where are these other guys
Well,
making plays?
okay,
It
but
can't
he's
be
not up for
TJ
an
Watt. No,
award.
I don't want to hear any TJ Watt slander. TJ Watt is not the
We needed
problem.
him. We
with
needed
this
him when we were
organization.
losing
He's
to
still up for
Kansas City.
Defensive Player of the Year at plus 700 odds. Okay, I don't want to hear talk about TJ Watt. Moving on.
Award shows are the
Steve,
dumbest thing. Let's be honest with
Comeback
these award
Player of the
shows.
Year. Go to the water fountain.
Comeback Player of the Year. Let's just give it to.
Okay. So Joe Burrow has. This is interesting. This is an interesting one. Joe Burrow at minus 250. Sam Darnold at plus 160. That's up in the air. Then we have DeMar Hamlin at plus 8,000. I don't know how he's up for that again.
What are we
J.K.
doing?
Dobbins plus 2,500. Christian Gonzalez, the solid corner from New England. We should have drafted him instead of Broderick Jones.
I wanted Christian Gonzalez so bad, and we didn't. And
no, remember we traded up with the Patriots.
Yeah.
We traded down with the Patriots, and the Patriots got
The
Gonzalez.
Steelers are completely
we got-
misutilizing Broderick Jones.
Yeah.
I think he could be a lot better. I don't think
Yeah.
it's. I think it's closer than you think between them
Yeah.
two. I think.
But honestly,
But-
I know exactly who I'm giving comeback player of the year.
You don't know
too.
ball
So-
over there.
I know ball, and I know Christian Gonzalez is a better player than Broderick
Yeah,
Jones.
but that's because the Steelers. I mean,
Go to the water fountain.
The Steelers are playing him at the wrong position. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, they do.
Everybody does not know that. Take says that.
Yeah, but he's right. He's completely right.
I mean, it's easier said than done, I think. But he has a point. Moving on. So, who do you guys got?
I
Joe
don't care.
Burrow or Sam Darnold?
I have Joe Burrow, and this is why. The comeback player of the year shouldn't be, well, he came back from being bad.
Why
you know
not?
what I mean?
Why?
He does what did he come back from? That's most improved. That should be the most improved.
There
player.
is
no
point.
such award, though.
Joe Burrow came back from injury and played probably his best season of football.
Shouldn't it be the guy that got shot, the wide receiver? I feel like it should be that wide receiver from Florida that the Niners
Ricky
drafted.
Pearsall.
Yeah. It should be like one of those
I'm
things
sorry,
where you
that
have a
doesn't
traumatic.
count.
You have like a traumatic something happen, like an injury.
But that doesn't always happen.
Yeah, but
It's based-
it
it has to
usually
be
happens. Something bad
performance-based.
usually happens.
Now, if it's performance-based, Joe Burrow deserves the... I think Joe
Yeah.
Burrow deserves some kind
Just
of...
give it to-
I think
I-
Joe Burrow should win it.
Let's not lose
that's on him.
sleep over
I'd
it.
give it to
Yeah.
Sam. I'd give it
All
to
right,
Sam
He
because,
came back from
because
sucking,
here's
though.
the thing, though.
Like,
Right,
that's all he
Sam
came
has
back
never
from.
done
I'm not
anything
gonna
like
lose sleep
this.
over this.
Sam has never done anything like this. Joe Burrow, we've seen him. Now, this is his best year, but we know how good Joe Burrow is. I think a lot of people expected him to be very good. So I don't think it's necessarily a comeback if it's expected. Now, I do agree with you. There probably should be a clarification, like the most improved or the comeback player. There should be like a difference there.
Right.
But because there isn't, I would give it to Sam Darnold because we didn't expect this from Sam Darnold.
I feel like it should be like an emotional kind of thing. Like it should be like emotional, like the oh my
Choose
gosh.
love.
No,
Choose love.
no,
No, we don't need emotion.
No, but like for comeback player, like I think there obviously should be I didn't even know there was the most improved.
there
should
isn't.
be.
There isn't.
Yeah.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
didn't even know there wasn't one. But
There's one in basketball, right? But there's not a comeback player.
yeah,
of the
but but sometimes with some of these sports, like there's so many awards, it's just
Yeah.
like it's too like okay, we're splitting hairs.
year.
Honestly, like give it to everyone. I honestly don't care. But Sam Darnold, if he gets it, I'm not gonna lose
right.
sleep. But
Yeah.
I think Joe Burrow is obviously better, and if by that criteria, it should be him.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get
I won't
these-
be watching,
these
so
ones
I don't
out of the
care.
I
way.
won't either.
Offensive
Yeah.
Rookie of the Year, Jaden Daniels, Brock Bowers, Bo Nix, Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors. I think Brian Thomas
Thomas
in
gets
any other year,
disrespected by some.
in any other year, Brian Thomas and Brock would probably win.
Yeah.
But we
You can't.
know what
you can't not give it to Jane Daniels.
Yeah, Jane Daniels took a 4-win
That's
team to
that's
12
another
wins. Like,
thing.
let's just disregard how well he did in the playoffs.
Should there
too.
be like overall Rookie of the Year, like how there's overall MVP, and then Offensive Rookie of the Year, then Defensive Rookie of the Year?
That's too many.
Like for a year like this, that would be good because then you'd have, excuse me, wow, burp, and then you'd have Jaden as Rookie of the Year. Then you'd have it between Brock and Brian Thomas and Bo Nix.
Yeah.
And there's Malik Neighbors is on there, but he was on the Giants. All right, so we had a quick break there. Our battery died.
And then we got some funny,
We
really.
got some really interesting news about our Pittsburgh Pirates, but we're gonna have to wait.
We're gonna
on
save that for.
Let's talk Bacas because we got to regain our composure before we do that. So, continuing with the NFL honors. Dear
I
God.
can't do NFL honors after
We're
that.
almost done.
I barely could do it before.
We got to at least do
we
MVP.
got to finish what we started.
Yeah.
Okay, so Defensive Rookie of the Year,
Oh.
Jared Verse is the heavy favorite. Quinyon
Just give it to him
Mitchell-
then. Let's just give it to him and.
Quinyon Mitchell, Braden Fisk, Chop Robinson. I don't know how he's on here. Cooper DeJean.
Because he's Penn State, that's why, right? He's Penn
Yeah.
State. That's why.
Right, that's why Penn State got a ridiculous seed. They have their
Yeah.
biased.
The Rams did a great job with this rookie class
Yeah,
defensively.
that's why I think Jared
getting
Verse-
both Florida
They
State
have the
guys.
least. Okay, Steelers. They have the least money spent on defense, and their defense is better than yours. Just saying.
Jared Verse has been fantastic. It's crazy. He went from Delaware to Florida State to now first round
Albany,
pick to now. Why did I say Delaware? It is Albany. Yeah, Albany to Florida State. Sorry for the fake news.
We love
Albany-
Delaware though. I
yeah,
love
we
Delaware.
do love
The
Delaware.
Blue Hens.
But yeah,
Yeah.
he went from
We love the
Albany.
Blue Hens.
No one knew
When I'm
about
on
Albany.
vacation, there's always a guy that has a big blue hen sticker that's like next to us. So I always the blue hens. I
Yeah,
love, I
yeah,
love
he
the
was like
Blue Hens.
unknown from Albany. Then he goes to Florida State, becomes a first-round pick, bets on himself, even though he was projected to be a first-round pick the year before, and has a fantastic rookie season. I think that's awesome, just to point out. But
Yeah.
I
I have
him
nothing
as-
more to add.
yeah.
Jared Verse.
Yeah, I think he should win it.
Yeah, there's none of those other guys stand out.
Quinn
to
and
me.
Mitchell, I really want the Steelers to draft, honestly.
I like Quinn Mitchell. He's a
Yeah.
Toledo guy. That's my
Yeah,
favorite.
I was like,
MAC
he
team,
stuck with
even
Toledo when
though-
he could have left for more money. I'm like,
And
that's
Braden,
the type of guy the
Braden
Steelers
Fisk
need.
is up for it, and he's with the Rams as well. They're that
Yeah.
duo there. Braden took over for Aaron, basically,
Yeah.
I think, and Aaron Donald did a good job. Okay. All right, so here's the two bigger ones here. Coach of the Year. Now, this is interesting, okay?
Now, should we go? Is it Mike Tomlin or is it?
Yeah.
Why is it
Oh.
Mike Tomlin
Or
on
is
this list?
Is it Mike Tomlin or is it Doug Peterson or
Yeah.
I'm even
One
Oh,
point,
man.
Doug Peterson. He
Brandon
might have won that, actually.
Yeah.
Doug
Brandon
won-
Staley even coming back?
Yeah.
No, I'm off the rails.
What's the Jets interim coach?
Oh yeah, that guy. He's people were really
Yeah.
trashing him. It was a tough Jeff
Yeah.
Ulbrich.
Yeah.
Jeff
Yeah.
He
Ulbrich.
should be up for this. Having to deal with the Jets.
Yeah.
That's enough for the award. as it
But
is.
honestly, I know exactly what I'm giving it to.
So we have
I think
Dan
we agreed.
Quinn at
I think me and
plus
Jake Bill
180,
agree.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell at plus 500, Andy Reid at plus 550. Andy Reid could win it every year.
Yeah.
Weed.
We love-
This is my my thing, right?
And then we have Dan Campbell at plus 600, Sean Payton at plus 12. I think Sean Payton should be up there a little higher
Yeah, I agree.
than that. Sean Payton should have better odds than Reid and Campbell, but
To me, I really
Mhm.
think it should only go down to two head coaches because I feel
O'Connell
like
and Quinn.
I
right?
agree
Yeah.
because I think Coach of the Year should be the unexpected team led by their coach that drastically got better. Like we knew the Lions were going to be the top, if not one of the top, if not the top teams in the NFC. Obviously, Chiefs, same thing with the AFC, but Vikings. This is why I'm saying Kevin O'Connell shouldn't. It's because he has proven he can be a very good coach. We didn't think Sam Darnold would be this great, but I think it was expected, the Vikings could be a playoff contender with Darnold. Who knows? But the fact that that Washington team that was supposed to be like dead last in like the NFC, basically, they became a 12-win team, better than the Steelers, better than a bunch of other
But we
teams.
beat Washington.
We did beat Washington
A
by a
miracle. That was
miracle.
the miracle.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
moon
But,
ball of Mike Williams.
but I mean, if you were gonna tell me they were gonna be better than like the Packers, like I would have been like, "There's no way." I mean, Dan Quinn, he should be Coach of the Year, and
Yeah.
they should give a lot of props also to Cliff Kingsbury. Like if there's like an assistant Coach of the Year, I think there is.
You
Yeah,
want to hear? You want to? Oh wait,
Yeah.
where is that? Oh, it's not on this list. But
Yeah,
there is an
but it's like a
assistant coach.
minor
Assistant
one,
coach
yeah.
of the year.
I mean, you
Arthur
could-
Smith.
yeah. He's getting
Terrell
he's
Austin.
getting
Pat
paid.
Meyer.
I
Pat
mean,
Meyer.
Arthur Smith's getting calls to be a head coach, so maybe he should.
That's
now.
from poverty
yeah, from poverty
franchises.
franchises.
So I would give it to Quinn too
Yeah.
because Kevin O'Connell definitely deserves a lot of votes. And I
Yes,
think it'll be
I
close
agree.
because what he did with Sam Darnold, but that Vikings roster had a lot of pieces, and what Brian Flores did with the defense was a huge component.
Yes.
Now Dan Quinn had Kevin Kingsbury, get that offense going, but Kevin Kingsbury, I just call him Cliff Kingsbury.
Yes.
And but what Dan Quinn did with that defense, and that defensive personnel is not very good. And what he was able to win games with that defensive
Frankie
personnel,
Louvu.
and putting a team together that was just an organization that was in shambles too. The NFC Championship game, I mean,
Yeah.
is incredible. I feel like it has to be him. I think Sean Payton deserves a little more. Like, I feel like he's getting disrespected in these odds here because
Yeah, I agree.
Denver was such a mess this year, and what he did with Bo Nix, similar to what, I mean, Darnold had more numbers, but similar to what O'Connell did with Darnold. So very, 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 a lot of good candidates there. Dan Campbell, I mean, his roster was loaded this year.
They had injuries. I
And
think that's why the people
it's
had
like-
him that high. But
Campbell, yeah, I feel like maybe last year, the year before, but like not this year.
Yeah.
All right, and then assistant coach of the year. Wait, I'm curious.
I didn't even.
I'm curious who's up for this. It's got to be like Kingsbury.
Brian Flores has to be one of them, right? Like it's like basically the same.
Danny
person.
Smith actually should be one of them.
Yeah.
Danny Smith.
Wait, assistant
Uh.
coach of the year. Let me look this up here. Ba-da-da-da-da. Okay, so it's a lot of interesting. Okay, Aaron Glenn with
That makes
the
sense.
Lions. The
Ben
Joe Brady.
Johnson.
Yeah,
Ben-
Ben Johnson would have to be.
I
too.
am shocked there's no Cliff Kingsbury on here.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a wow.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Glenn, Joe Brady from Buffalo, Ben Johnson, Brian Flores, or Vic Fangio.
Oh, Vic Fangio, that's a good one too, because
Yeah.
but they have a lot of talent. I disregard
But their
them because
defense last year was terrible.
I know, but they always had the talent there.
I give it to Brian Flores because I think he did more with less.
What are yeah.
right?
I would
don't know.
agree.
I don't think that's
I
gonna be
think I would
anything
give it to
crazy.
Flores. I think Ben Johnson was up for it last year and didn't win, so I think he could win it.
He could.
But I think I'd give it to Flores too because Johnson's so creative, but that personnel they have. But Flores, like we
They have
talked about with Dan
Cashman.
Quinn.
They have Cashman.
Yeah,
there.
they have Cashman.
They
That's
do
how.
have
That's maybe
Cashman.
Cashman should be Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, Blake Cashman. Where is he? But yeah, I'd give it to Flores. I would.
Yeah.
Aaron Glenn was impressive, but not like Brian
Aaron.
Flores impressive.
Yeah.
I can't believe he didn't. Like, if I'm the New Orleans wants an offensive coach. Like, Brian, how he did not get a job
right.
this year, I don't know.
Next one's NFL Employee of the Year, which every franchise's employee.
Employee of the Year would actually have to be Adam Peters of the Washington Commanders, right? First year GM.
Oh yeah, the GM. Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
Maybe
yeah.
it was GM.
I was thinking like just the people that go unnoticed. They're just
Yeah, like I don't even know.
they put in the work and they don't get the credit they deserve. No,
It
I'm
would
just
have to- it would have
My
to
I
be
was
like
mom,
the-
she works at the game.
your mom.
Yeah,
Yes,
she
It would be like
works
the
employee of the month.
yeah.
Pam Celesti, right?
Yeah,
Pam
Pam
your-
Celesti. Shout out Pam
Yes,
Celesti.
there it is. There.
Employee of the year of all NFL teams. Wow. All right. Super Bowl.
MVP.
Oh, MVP.
Oh my God, we forgot MVP. Okay, this has been going on too long. I apologize.
I was
Nate is grimacing in pain over there.
no, but then I said employee. Them.
That was your fault.
I'm just
there.
being I don't know.
Okay, so it's either Lamar or Josh. There's Lamar, Josh, Joe Burrow, Saquon. There's a fifth one.
Honestly-
Who am I forgetting? Oh, Lamar, Joe Burrow, Saquon, Josh. Who's the fifth?
One
Can't
issue.
remember. Michael Burley.
Joe
MVP
Burrow or
not-
Derrick Henry, maybe,
Oh yeah,
Derrick
Derrick
Henry?
Henry, I believe, is fifth. I believe.
or Jamar Chase could.
Kenny
be. I don't know
Pickett.
that.
Kenny
Yeah, Kenny Pickett. I'd vote him.
Oh, no, so it's
Totally unbiased.
Yeah,
Jared
totally.
Goff is the fifth. Jared Goff is the fifth nominee.
Jared
Well,
Goff.
honestly,
Jimmy
hey,
was
Kenny,
great.
Kenny Pickett. They made the Super
Oh my
Bowl. They
God.
made the Super Bowl his first season. I don't think that's a coincidence.
Not a coincidence.
It's not a
We're not biased.
Yeah.
We are
You're definitely not
Kenny-
biased.
yeah.
journalists.
Eagles last year without Pickett. First round exits, horrible
Wow.
collapse. This year with Kenny Pickett. They're in the Super
Stability.
Bowl. But you know what? It could also be another very important
I'll go
player,
first.
too.
Get me out of the way so I can. I don't think it's particularly close. I mean, I would actually have the order differently. I think it's Lamar. For me, it's Lamar Jackson. He's better in every statistical category. The Bills are at a better record, but whatever. They didn't. They beat him, but we don't do playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's kind of one of them things like Jokic. It's like every year is like the best numbers, but like we got to give it to somebody else at some point. But like I think he's worthy of being the MVP. But I would have Burrow second, honestly. I know.
Over Allen?
Yeah, he had better numbers and everything
Well,
too.
okay. Go ahead, finish.
Plus
Then
he
I'll make
was.
my argument.
Plus
I have a take
they had a
too.
better offense overall, and I don't.
Who had a better offense?
Cincinnati had a better offense than Buffalo, I think.
Well, he has Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Yeah, okay. All right, but Josh Allen is James Cook and
Oh yeah, and who else?
and
Who
James
else?
and
Keon
Amari
Coleman.
Cooper and Khalil Shakir. You're
Keon
disrespectful.
Coleman, and they have
And they had the great tight ends, Dalton Kincaid and Dawson
That's
Knox.
not comparable to Jamar and T.
Okay, but where would the Bengals be without Joe Burrow? They'd be the worst team.
you know
in
where they
football.
are they're in Cancun.
All right, but the
That's
Bills
where
are
they
too.
get the
So
Super
are
Bowl.
30
The-
other teams.
The Bills, they were
Oh,
5 seconds or 5 yards away there from going to the AFC.
we don't do
Championship.
playoffs. Playoffs doesn't count.
I don't. No,
The regular
that's
season award.
bullshit in my opinion. But
I
that's another
agree.
story.
I do.
I
That's
agree,
another-
but
playoffs should be a determining factor in these awards.
I agree, but like that's just not the reality.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen.
Well, you're gonna be very upset when Josh Allen wins tonight.
I will not be watching. I really do.
I'll be sure to let you know.
I will.
And here's why I'm giving Josh Allen the award. I know.
I didn't even know it was
I agree
tonight.
with you. Lamar has the better numbers, but most valuable.
What does it
Okay,
mean?
what does valuable mean?
What does it
Okay,
mean?
Lamar added Derrick Henry this year. That makes that helps Lamar a lot. Okay, that helped him a lot. And Lamar had some pretty bad games early in the season. Let's be honest. Losing to Cleveland, losing to Pittsburgh, losing to the Raiders. All right. Josh Allen did have like one or two, but he didn't have as many clunkers as Lamar. But besides that, okay, Allen lost his number one receiver, had honestly a mediocre defense, a mediocre receiving core. The running game did really get going this year, but it's not like they brought in a ginormous running back. James Cook developed and got better. If you look at valuable, there is no doubt, and valuable plus success, right? You determine those factors, right? Josh Allen comes out with the highest score because he was the most valuable to his team this year. Because this wasn't the best Buffalo team that we've seen in recent years.
Baltimore's defense wasn't great for large
but they
stretches.
got really good as the year went on. Buffalo's defense was about the same.
Buffalo's was pretty good early on, then they tapered off.
Let's talk about the offensive side of the ball, okay? Josh does not have the same pieces that Lamar does. He doesn't.
Derrick Henry, James Cook. That's pretty comparable.
No.
Wide receiver
no,
Zay Flowers is overrated. Rashad Bateman's,
But Derrick Henry, the impact Derrick Henry makes is so much bigger than what.
Yeah, but Lamar
James
Jackson
Cook
can run
made.
with the ball.
So does Josh. Josh did everything. Josh is a different kind of runner, but Josh, I in terms of valuable, the word valuable, Allen gets the award for me. Sorry. Go ahead, break the tie.
Yeah, you better apologize for that take.
Honestly, I'm not breaking the tie at all. But I think Lamar Jackson will win because it's a statistical award. It is a regular season award. I think he will win if I had to put money on it. But this is going to be a hot take. I think I would put Barkley on one. And this is why.
Wow. If you were voting, you'd give it to Barkley.
If I were voting, I'd give it to Barkley. Because,
Honestly,
I would
in terms
go,
of valuable, he is more valuable than Allen.
I would go.
But we know it's a quarterback award.
Exactly. I would go Barkley, Allen, Lamar Jackson. I think it will be Lamar Jackson, Allen, Barkley. But Barkley, we all knew he was going to have a better year going from the Giants to the Eagles. That was just common sense as long as he had a healthy season. But he came in and he had the best running back season since probably Adrian Peterson.
And he
changed
all honesty. The dynamic of that team.
He did. And now that team had a catastrophic. They had a Steeler-esque end to last season, and now they're a Super Bowl team.
Their superstar center,
and he made Jalen Hurts' job way easier. And I know again the Eagles have the best offensive line in football.
Right,
that's no question.
The devil's advocate.
That is, yeah. But what other running back?
Swift wasn't
exactly.
Doing that
what other
year.
Running back ran under that offensive line and became the best running back season since Adrian Peterson? I don't know. He would get my vote. That might be a hot take. Sorry, Bills fans. I would have voted for Josh Allen so many other years.
But
yeah, give me Saquon
I think it's
Barkley.
a reasonable take. It's two different conversations, right? Most valuable, or it's just going by
if you're
statistics.
Going with
purely.
most valuable, it would be Saquon. But I'm taking into the fact that it's a quarterback award.
I think Lamar Jackson will win.
So my question: if you had to pick between Lamar and Josh, would you take Lamar because of the statistics?
I would vote for Allen. I would have had it Barkley, Allen, Lamar Jackson. I think I would have taken
So you would
Josh
have
Allen
over Lamar.
Yes, but I think Lamar Jackson will win it. But having Derrick Henry, I mean, his numbers were going to be better.
Right.
So
exactly. Okay. Super Bowl. Let's make our picks. We've been anticipating. Nate and I have already made our predictions. Jake has it, but we're gonna go through them anyway. We'll save Jake's for last because we don't know what we don't know what yours is.
Well, they don't know what Jake's. The people don't know what ours is. Unless they watched our video. We had a video.
Let's Talk Steelers.
We did an hour-long sit-down at a booth in Italian Village, Trattoria.
That's right. All of our friends
and we just talked
Italian
football
Village,
for an hour. It was a great experience. And Mike McMahon was cooking. But
we love Mike McMahon.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter, honestly, who goes first. I'll go. I can go first to get out of the way.
Yeah, go ahead.
Get my stupid video out of the way. I think mine's least surprising anyway, too, because I've just been on the Chiefs. I said they wouldn't go into the season. I picked them in the playoffs to, our playoff bracket to win. Just until somebody proves they can beat Kansas City, I'm just not going to pick against them. Now, what if the Eagles could very well win? I wouldn't be shocked. I would be a little surprised, though, actually, because You know, the Eagles have the best roster in football, I believe. I mean,
Yeah, they
just
have the
every
better
position.
roster.
Yeah, they did.
But it's a major coaching mismatch at the head coaching position, in my opinion. I think Vic Fangio's a pretty good defensive coordinator, and Kellen Moore's all right, you know. But is Matt Nagy still the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs?
Yes,
Oh,
but
that's
Andy
fun.
Reid's running this.
Yeah, I
show.
know.
Yeah,
So that's what I mean. Like, nobody even, like...
I always thought Matt Nagy was a good coach. I mean, he won 12 games with Mitch Trubisky.
He wasn't a bad people
Yeah.
like it,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not like completely warranted
It's
the
just-
disrespect.
He
but
just, I guess, never developed Trubisky, and maybe that's not even on
Yeah.
him.
You can't
But
develop
that wasn't
Trubisky.
his. That wasn't his.
He got the most. He squeezed every last ounce out of Mitch
But also,
Trubisky.
that wasn't his quarterback either. Like he didn't
No.
draft him. That was
Yeah.
John Fox. So
yeah. So what I think it's gonna be really close all the way through. I think it's gonna be low scoring for a while actually, and then I think there might be a little more scoring in the second half. Because there's more, it gets more urgency, so then they open the playbooks a little bit more. I think if the Eagles win the line of scrimmage, like it's kind of weird. Like if the Chiefs win the line of scrimmage, I think they win for sure.
yeah.
If the Eagles win the line of scrimmage, I still think there's a chance the Chiefs win.
Right.
Just because I think the coach. I think if it's close at the end of the game, I just give Kansas City the edge, just because I trust their coaching much more. I would trust their coaching against any coaching staff in the league. I just think when it's all said and done, I just think Mahomes makes a play,
We love Mahomes.
or Andy Reid, you know, or Steve Spagnuolo, you know, dials up a really good defensive play or something. So I think the Chiefs win. I think they three-peat, and I think Nick Sirianni
I want to
cries
see some tears.
before the game, during the
And
anthem,
after the game.
and after the game. I think Chris Jones also does. He cries
He cries
both
no
times,
matter what.
but he
Yeah.
cries tears of joy because I think Kansas City wins.
Usually he
Super
cries
Bowl.
tears of joy as a Kansas City
Yeah, they do a little bit of winning.
Now, you know me. I'm going to be very strongly rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs / the refs.
He
We
doesn't.
love
Want-
the
He
refs.
Refs
doesn't.
slash
He
the
doesn't
refs.
want a picket ring. He just doesn't want.
No, it's not even picket. I mean, that's part of it, but it's more so Philadelphia. I
Right.
don't want Philadelphia winning. So I'll be rooting for the Chiefs.
Philadelphia.
And I have a hard time picking against the Chiefs because this game is going to come down to two things. Okay, the Eagles have the edge is at the line of scrimmage, both sides, right? The Chiefs' offensive line isn't always the best, and the Eagles could really make Mahomes' life uncomfortable. But Andy Reid knows how to scheme; they know how to score points. And then obviously the Eagles' offensive line is really good, but the Chiefs' D line is not. You know, that'll be the most interesting battle is between the Eagles' O line. But I think the Eagles have the edge overall. But then you look at the other most important part of the game, of any game, but specifically as big a game as this, is the head coach quarterback duo, right? Like the Mahomes and Andy. I mean, I think Mahomes and Andy Reid are way ahead of Sirianni and Hurts by
Right.
a lot. Now with the offensive line, with the line of scrimmage, you could say the Eagles maybe have they have an advantage, but not as much of an advantage. Like every part of my sense tells me that the Chiefs are going to win this game. But from what I'm hearing, like in the public, I feel like that the Chiefs have already been handed this three-peat. Like people are saying it's bound to happen. Like it's going to happen. You know, it just feels like the Chiefs have three-peated. Like it's already happened. The game hasn't been played yet.
Yeah.
And this Philadelphia Eagles team, like it's a better roster than the Bills. It's a better offensive line, better defense. And we saw the Bills push around the Chiefs in that second half, and except for the tush pushes, right? Those didn't work out.
Oh, yeah, that'll be interesting.
So-
the tush push for Jalen Hurts. It should work still.
They do it way better than the Bills.
Yeah.
So I should favor the quarterback coach. That should be my deciding factor. But because of I just feel like the public is a little too much on Kansas City. It feel like people are saying it's inevitable, and I think the Eagles. I think it's going to come down to the line of scrimmage, actually, more so than the head coach and quarterback duo. And I shouldn't believe that, but I am believing that. Just because I feel like we've seen the Chiefs get pushed around a little bit, and I think the Eagles are hungrier. And the three. I remember when Brady, right? Like he was about to go for the perfect season. You know, I think he was trying to go for a three-peat at one point. He didn't make it to the Super Bowl, but like
He would that would have been his second Super Bowl win going to become a three-peat because he won the year after.
right.
So
And when we see these milestones, like the pressure gets intense, but the intensity isn't there as much. And so, anyway, long story short, I think the Eagles' offensive line and defensive line dominates this game, especially late. And I think the Eagles find a way to win this game. I hope not, but I am picking the Eagles.
so
31-28.
before I say
the
my
final.
winner, I'm gonna give two scenarios where I feel like one team will win because of this scenario or the other team will win because of this scenario. So scenario one, and my predictions are about as correct as MLB scoops, by the way. Like I might get
We
a
love
couple,
MLB scoops.
but we do love MLB scoops because it
I
gives
don't-
you.
I don't.
Yeah, Nate does not. But
I'm tired of
anyway,
it.
yeah. But anyway, so I think it could go either. I think it could be similar to the 2018 Super Bowl, and the guy who makes a forced fumble is a guy who feels that he was robbed for Defensive Player of the Year, even though I don't think so. But Zach Bond gets a strip, not a strip sack, but he strips the ball off of someone from the Chiefs, and the
Zach
Eagles
There's
win.
a flag on the
Yeah,
plate.
yeah.
Illegal touching of Pat
I think that
Mahomes.
could happen, or I could low key see it as a similar matchup to the Patriots-Rams Super Bowl where it's low scoring because that Rams offense
that was the worst
amazing.
Super
It
Bowl
was.
I've ever
I don't think
seen.
it'll be
It
as
won't be
low
that
scoring.
bad.
I don't think it'll be as low scoring. I could see it like 21-20. Like that.
Jared
If the
Goff.
Chiefs win, I think it could be a very low scoring game where they just shut down Barkley and the Eagles have to make.
That'll
It
be
always
interesting.
comes down to turnovers, and both of these quarterbacks. Now, obviously, Mahomes is
Who's
in
more
terms of
likely
reading,
to turn it over?
in terms
though?
of reading defenses and ability to throw and make throws. I mean, Mahomes
Yeah.
is high and away
Right.
above Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, the reason Philadelphia kind of struggled in the beginning of the year, Jalen Hurts had 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
Ever since then, he's had 1 interception all year. So, if the Chiefs, if they could shut down Saquon Barkley, which I feel like they can, but only to some degree, do the Eagles start to put more on Jalen, right?
Good. I mean,
And
they
if
have
I'm
the
the
receiving core
Eagles,
to
if
do
I'm
it.
the Eagles, I trust my defense and I keep plugging away with Saquon, right? I'm run first and just hope that we keep, it's like banging a drum. You just bang that drum, bang that drum, bang that drum. Eventually, that's a terrible analogy. But like when you're in a fight and you keep punching somebody and they keep coming at you, eventually they're gonna get tired.
Yeah.
So I keep running Saquon down your throat until it eventually breaks.
What if they
Well-
start punching you?
Well, that would be the Mahomes going off,
Yeah.
but the Eagles' defense has to hold. I think.
But-
I think they have to keep this low scoring in the first half.
But with all that being said, I have the Chiefs winning.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I do have the Chiefs.
I feel like you didn't. I feel like I didn't
You
interrupt.
did. You
I
interrupted.
interrupted.
It's all good though.
No, but what do you think happens? Do you think that?
I think it's going to be lower scoring. I could see it being 21
Oh yeah, you
to
did
20.
say that.
I
Yeah.
think if the Chiefs win, I think it'll be low scoring. Even though it's like, wow, these two offenses could put up a lot of points. I think it could be.
I think it's
it'd
like
be
a
low scoring.
27-24.
I
Yeah.
do agree. I don't think it's going to be, especially in the first half. Like
Yeah.
the first half
That's- yeah.
under, I think is a good call.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking to take some bets in this game.
Right.
And first half under. I think it speeds up in the second half a little more.
Right.
I don't think it'll be like last year's the last time these two teams played in the Super Bowl was 38-35, 24-14 at half.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
So we'll see. The Chiefs, are they gonna? I hope they do. That would be amazing, incredible stuff.
But
I mean,
I want that picket ring. Just the big FU to the Steelers.
I don't even like. It's already a big fu though. Like,
Are
know
you
what I
guys
mean?
rooting for the Eagles?
No.
You're rooting for
I
Chiefs?
want them to win because
Yeah.
of Pickett. I couldn't. I'm not gonna watch the whole Super Bowl. I'll probably be in bed by halftime if I'm being real. So
It's
we'll
earlier
see.
this time though, isn't it? What
Is it?
time is
No,
it?
you're
thought it
not
was at
going to
8.
bed. You're watching the whole series.
I'm probably gonna be
call
waking.
you
I'm
to
probably gonna
6:30.
have to
You
wake
gotta
up
watch
at
the
6 or
Super Bowl.
6:30.
Isn't it like 6:30? Or is that like they
Yeah.
say it starts at 6:30, but it's like 7:30 when
Yeah.
it starts.
Super Bowl. 6:30. Thank you. Okay, shut up.
Are you asked to?
All right. That was a good episode today. Wow.
Yeah.
We're gonna
we
do
have
some
we have
Let's
a
Talk
we have some
Buccos.
bonus content, and I
Yeah.
think it's gonna be like a weekly thing, bonus
down with that.
content, and I think you'll enjoy it, the fans, the viewers, and we'll
It'll
enjoy
be on
it.
Fox Sports Wheeling
Fox
Radio.
Sports Wheeling. What we're about to what we're also gonna be recording, and you will see that on our YouTube and on other YouTube pages and on Fox Sports Wheeling, which you can listen to for free on the iHeartRadio app, or just look it up and listen.
All right, Jake Bell.
Am I sending it off? All right. Thank you guys so much for watching episode number 24. Pedro Alvarez, number 24 episode.
I think Tommy Pham could be 24
that
this
would
year.
be interesting. He doesn't deserve
We are
Pedro.
family.
No, he doesn't deserve Pedro Alvarez's number though. Pedro Alvarez is my favorite player growing up.
Oh wow.
He was. He really like
I
even
mean,
though
he
he
was
was he was
likable, dude.
underwhelming. Yeah,
he was
underwhelming,
a
but
likable
Well,
guy.
he was likable.
I mean, that 2013 and
Yeah.
the years before that, he was a monster.
He was.
I liked Polanco.
That's what we
Yeah.
need. We need a guy who hits 35 home runs. Anyway,
Joey
I
Bart.
Joey
O'Neal
Bart, a
Cruz.
Bart
O'Neal
Dart.
Cruz.
we're relying on you, Joey.
But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys next week.